Hey everybody, it's me Artie. It's what month are we in? It's February 28th. It's a Wednesday, and I just found out Richard Lewis died. Uh, First, I was like, can't be. Damn caller. I remember him in so many shows, and I don't think he came out in too many movies. But I remember his comedy specials on HBO. But so, yeah, Richard Lewis is no longer with us. Uh, but I'm still here talking to you. And I'm going to review a movie, and this one's dedicated to Christophe Valdez. A while last year, I left a comment on a TSOL video if anyone remembered the movie they were in. I remember seeing their man. I remember seeing them playing in a movie I was watching on HBO. 90, 91, around that time. And I started listening to TSOL again. I was like, what was that movie they were in? And he told me it's the Runnin Kind from 1989. So I was like, whoa. He's like, it's here on YouTube. So I watched it, and it was I did not remember anything about it. Just that scene where TSO is playing there, that might die today. I was like, might die today. So yeah, I watched it, and so it stars. Well, let's go through the cat. Let's go to the director and writer. So this is directed by Max Tash and written by him and one of the actresses, Pleasant Gemin. And I looked up Max Tash. He did just TV, and then he directed this one movie. It's so bizarre. Like I see that with other directors too. But he did so many shows. I didn't want to list them all, but just a lot of stuff. If you watched TV in the 80s and 90s, you would have seen some of his stuff. And it stars David Packer. I just remember his face. Looked him up. He's in RoboCop, but he's one of the surgeons. I don't think you even see him. I maybe glance like a micron of a second. You see him, and then he was in the TV series, the first one. And you get Steve Eckhold. I looked him up. He's been in a lot of stuff. I can't remember. Susan or City plays David Packers. I think his name's his last name's Curtis. And Joey John. She was in a bunch of stuff. She was in Teen Wolf, and then Kenneth Tygar. He's been in so much stuff, but I looked him up. He did a lot of TV, but I mainly remember him from Phantasm 2, The Priest. But he's also in the Avengers. He's the old man that stands up in Germany when Loki tells him all this to kneel, and he's the old man that stands up. And then Juliette Lewis is in this. Yeah. And then Bree Howard. She plays Thunder. And okay, so Joey Curtis, he's a rich kid. Him and his rich kid friends are going out looking for something to do, and they just happen to go to like a punk bar just to see what it's like. And he watches Joey. I don't even know if his name's Joey. I know his last name is Curtis, so I'll just call him Curtis. He's watching the band play, and he's checking out the Thunder playing the drums. And I was watching it, and I looked her up. She didn't do many movies. She was in this movie Android, maybe some other TV shows, but she is a real drummer because she's playing drums badass, and I was like, wow, she's really playing. So he starts talking to her, and they hit it off like immediately, and like right away she's like, I'm going to LA. If you want to come along, you should go. And he's like, oh, I can't do that. Like, He's just graduated college, and he's going to go into his father's business. And then the girl, the Teen Wolf 2 girl, is his girlfriend. And like, yeah, his dad's like, you're going to go into the business. I can't make you do it, but this is what I've built my life around, is you taking over the family business. But he really wants to follow Thunder, and he does. He just takes off. He goes to LA, starts looking for her. They show Thunder, and she's really pretty. I thought she was black, but she's Filipina. She she goes to audition for a band, and like the band, they're like, yeah, hey, we don't want a girl playing drums, but if you want to hang out, maybe we'll party after. And then she just gets on the drums and she beats the crap out of him, and she does badass, and then she just leaves. She just wanted to show him how good she was, and they just laugh at her. And then they go to another girl, the Gammon, what's her name? Pleasant. They show her get up, and I thought it was Thunder for a second. And she's in a band called the She Devils, so she's a character. And then Curtis, he shows up in L.A. and he actually finds oh wait, like he's looking for Thunder, and he's going to different clubs. And I was like, how the hell is he gonna find her? Like, but he watches the She Devils play, and he couldn't see the drummer. He thought it was Thunder, so he follows him. Pleasant yells at him, like, get out of the back room that they're in, like the dressing room. And then she meets him at the bar, and he tells her that I came to LA looking for this girl, and she's like, well, I'm gonna go to this place. Musicians hang out there. If you want to go, maybe she'll be there. And he goes, and she's there. And I think El Duce is in this. There's a guy like staring into the camera, and he looks like El Duce. I don't know if it is or not. There's really not much info in this movie. So he meets, he reunites with Thunder, and she's really happy to see him. She gives him a hug and a kiss on the cheek, and I thought she'd be like, I don't even remember who the F you are, but she likes Curtis, but not like sexually. They're just like palling around. And I think maybe for a second he did like her, but this movie is just really weird because there's really there's like no goal, or there's no climactic ending. Nothing really happens. He becomes like he gets her to join the She Devils, and he becomes just like their groupie. He does like go over, like they sign a contract, like a small contract, and he reads it, and he's like, hey, they're taking this much money from you. And oh, thanks, Curtis. You're a real swell dude. So he just hangs out with the band, and then like he's drinking a little. He's not doing drugs. He's just living like a rock and roll lifestyle with this girl band. And then after a while, he's like, I can't do this. Like, I've done so much crazy stuff in in one day. And then he's like, and actually I've done crazy. But I was like, all he did was hang out with the band, and they do get a gig, and the promoter like tries to stiff him. And that's another thing about Curtis. He's such a wimp. He's kind of, just his face has like a whiny look on it. He kind of talks wishy-washy. So he confronts the promoter when they try to stiff the She Devils, and the promoter punches him, and Curtis closes his eyes and starts just swinging blindly, like, and he actually hits the promoter and knocks him on his ass and grabs the money that they were owed. So the real band is like, you should be our manager. Like, you've helped us so much. You're part of the band. And then they go on tour. There's some stuff like one of the band members is falling for him, but then another girl likes him. And then Thunder is she's still around, but she's just kind of in the background. So he decides to go on tour with them, but then he asks him to drop him off at his house with his parents. And he just starts working for his dad, and I was like, what the? It was just frustrating. And then he goes to work for his dad, and then he decides, oh, I want to be the manager for the band. And so he takes a plane trip to LA, and he leaves his girlfriend, like, they're gonna get married, and he literally, like, she falls asleep at watching TV, I know that you want something more, but I mean to leave her like that, and he even tells like Thunder and the band how much he loves his girlfriend and how close they are. So yeah, this movie was just frustrating. Part with TSOL was cool. The singer, I think Joe Wood, I think that's his name. He comes off as a real jerk in this, but I think that's he was supposed to be. And there's really nothing with him. I thought like he was gonna. I thought that Curtis is gonna like fall in love with Thunder, and then he's gonna steal her and dump Pleasant, who was his girlfriend. Like she's a singer of the band. There's no conflict. There's no. Uh, there's the one fight. There's no like. Yeah, there's nothing that like I was. This movie's like an hour and 40 minutes. So where's it going? It really, yeah, it really goes nowhere. I, I, I don't like rearranging the movie to say it would have been better like this, but I would have liked just to see Thunder and Pleasant as the main characters. They didn't even need uh, this Funky Curtis character. Yeah, I didn't like him. He even like he's like total preppy, and then they give him a mohawk, and then he turns into like a punk. And then yeah, he even says like he writes a letter to his sister Juliette Lewis. He's like, I don't even know if this is if being a band manager is what I even really want, but I'm gonna try it. And also, he's just yeah, very indecisive little bitch actually. But I'm glad I saw it, and I was wondering like, why did this Max Tash guy make this like? It's kind of like half underground. It's like it's somewhere in between like Repo Man, Suburbia, and then like Wayne's World and Airheads. And I know what's her name, Penelope Spears. She directed Wayne's World and Airheads and Suburbia. So because there's a lot of you see an X poster on the wall. I saw it, and he's hanging out in his room, and there's a flyer for a Sea Hags show and with another band called the Morlocks, and I was like, I had a Sea Hags tape. So there's like real elements of like the LA music scene, especially like the punk scene. And I looked up that Pleasant Gimmon, she wrote a book called The Underground Guide to LA. So I think this is all her, like all that's good. It's not from this Max Trash guy who like did like Alf and Hooperman and like the Weird Science TV show. But or if you're a TSOL fan, yeah. So I'll give it a 3 just because of the music stuff. Um, Bree Howard, she's great. She plays the drums. She's pretty. She's strong. She's cool. And then we just um, don't get to see her that much. And then Pleasant Gammon, she was cool. And I wonder if she really sang. I wonder. It said she sang. She did sing for bands, so I guess that was her singing. And she's a good front woman. The band's music was. There's a lot of cool bands in here too. Like the first band. I think the band that Thunder was playing for in the very beginning, they were pretty good, and I'd like to find out if there's a soundtrack or if anybody knows about the Runnin Kind. And that's what's title anyway. Yeah, I'd give it a 3 out of 5 just because of the music and the scene and all that stuff. But yeah, and yeah, David Packer, he seems like a nice like he'd be good. He would have been good like in Revenge of the Nerds or Weird Science or One Crazy Summer. He could have been like that, but not as a punk. But he did look. He pulled off the look. So it's the Running Kind. Yeah. Let me know what you think.